He was the weakest, feeling gripped on pain, grinning on acid bitter, gasping for little sounds, crickets night, frogs in summer, rustle of leaves dried by love. He lay downwards, brainless, only just alive, dust carcass staring, smoking, laughing, crying, playing flowers in make-believe, black and white photos hung, with clouds and long dead bodies, unhappy, pretending honey-flowed smiles, only just alive.
Well, it's another cold day in London. Get used to it. Well, Fables Against Gravity originally was a collection of poetry I wrote here back in 2004, so 9 years ago. And then the restarting of the Catalogue of Wonders here in London. The first album was a compilation with musicians and artists from all over the world, and I needed a title, and Fables Against Gravity, because it came immediately.
What sort of place did you people come from? What sort of place did you people come from?
But the thing is that I really, after I wrote Fables Against Gravity, I didn't write anything else in what we can call a poetic mode. I wrote scribble things, but of known importance compared with these with this book. I remember saying, when Matteo Marcisano Adamo interviewed me for his website, we spoke about exactly the first release, the Fables Against Gravity, and I told him about the poetry book that I wrote and da-di-da. And I remember I told him, even if I don't have a good memory, but yes, I told him that the book would be, or could be one day, illustrated through sounds influenced or inspired in the poems. One day the poems could be translated into pop songs or a cantata or whatever. So early this year I review or rediscovered these manuscripts that was on drawer gathering dust. So I read it and I said, let's edit it and change it, do something about it, because after I wrote this collection back in 2004, I didn't write anything, because I don't think I can write something with new ideas or new things to say, because no one wanted to publish it. I'm not surprised, because everybody says, oh, I don't understand it, it is very complicated, your English as a bloody foreigner is better than mine, I don't get it, it's very hermetic, it's very esoteric, there's someone else, and it's very difficult apparently, which is completely rubbish. It's a very free-form book of poetry, and it's just laziness of the people. I had a very good response from the quarters. I respect and I was about to say worship people that inspire me as people and as artists. So I decided, after lots of no's from publishers here in London, to make a vanity project out of it. So Fables Against Gravity is this one, is number 2. Maybe we are just starting a new series of compilations, whatever. It happens that the music for this number 2 is inspired on the book of poetry, the collection of poems I wrote in 2004. So, sorry. I invited Zen Jungle from Athens, and he said yes. John Daly from the Republic of Ireland, Sardonic from Portugal, Victor Hugo, the Swedish and Austrian guys that live in Paris, the Caliban X. They made a really memorable, beautiful work, and the Portuguese, the Virgin Automata. Yep. So and I could go on and on and on, but it's not a vanity project. But if I don't do it, no one else will do it. So here's to my friends all over the world, the internet. Yes. This poetry book and this album differs greatly from the first volume, and on these I didn't procure too many people like in the first compilation, and I wanted to create a world of not ambient compositions, but a world where you could have a space of your own and create your space within the music and the words, and as well, apart from the homage and dedication to living people, including the people that collaborated on this album, I wanted to dedicate and bring back the memory, the musical memory of someone extremely important on my growing musically and aesthetically, and that person is dead for a while, and I wanted to bring back the good memories I had of these artists. Marcelo Turks from the Netherlands, he used to go by the name of Synopsis Decay, and before he died, or for a few months, we were working on an album together. There was loads of ideas coming this way, that way, tracks, emails, and after Marcelo died, the idea of the album disappeared. But Marcelo was a very important person to the catalogue of wonders. Pretty much. He was, if not the first, he was one of the first to think that we have or add something. And actually, one of my only great possessions is a copy of an email he sent me when I decided to finish the catalogue of wonders. He was the only person actually who said no. And actually, I thought I'd lost the email, and it's just okay. He says here, but I think I can relate to the fact that at times it may feel like it is somehow all in vain. Lack of response, genuine interest, realizing I myself at times I haven't been a faithful friend as I would like to be, and putting in a lot of time and energy without some sort of a reward other than the work itself maybe. I do think you are doing a wonderful and nowadays almost big-headed job going against the grains in these days of carefree, desensitized music overconsumption. Very few people have the guts to stick their heads out in physically releasing and spreading a wide variety of volatile, unstable music, sonic art. I think you are making your mark, Mr. Pereira, a bold statement for the musical uncommon man. All this without discriminations, something to be proud of. Indeed, blessed are the noise makers. Avanti. So this is dated the 6th of March 2001. And in another email he said me, well, you are releasing all these extraordinary, strange, beautiful albums, and if you don't have money to pay your fees on Bandcamp or SoundCloud or whatever, take those albums to the bank, because they don't have a value. They are phenomenal. So I decided to include in this album a track that we were working at the time together, and stopped for 2 years because I didn't know what to do. And it's the scent of spring. So something extremely beautiful came out of a death, and not speaking about the person, his art is very valuable. So it was the first person or the first art I thought of including in these new Fables Against Gravity. when I asked John Daly to collaborate on this album, I really wasn't expecting what it came through the Ethernet in files. It is important to recall this for posterity, that John, and I hope he doesn't get angry at me, he told me privately that he had difficulties to understand and follow the lines of the poems that I sent him. And he actually said that he needed a tutor to go through it line by line to explain the poems. And I told him, don't be silly, you are more than able to do it. And that's the title of the book and the album, Fables Against Gravity. What the hell is Fables Against Gravity? It's very simple, actually. What is a fable? Aesop and the Greeks, and that's fabulation, that's the invention, that's the creation of worlds, and this is my world. My world can be called a fable. I've been through shit like everybody else, but my shit is my shit, so it's my own thing. I call it a fable because it's a learning curve. It's a beautiful thing. You know, as you know, I'm completely clinically depressed, so it's very positive actually that I'm saying this. And fables, or construction against gravity, is like that album from that German band, the Noisy Ones, something against architecture. I can't remember. That's my memory. Einstellungsneubauten, strategies against architecture. It's the same idea, I think, in different ways. It's a reaction against the normality of the world. So I said to John Daly, an inspiration, and what concerns me, and I'm not using the word in a gratuitous way, I think he's underrated musician, and he's completely genial in his approach to music and feelings, sentiments, and the explanation of life. Life is a fable in the best of ways. And I told him, just go through the poems, whatever, from beginning to end, jump around, choose your lines, your favorite stuff, the things, the words you relate with, and create your own poem. That's the idea of the 21 pieces of the poetry collection, the book. And do your own stuff. That's the idea of the book. And it's a book about my own experiences that actually translated to John's beautiful, astonishing world. And it's a reaction against boredom. The message is love, liberty, fraternity, compassion. I'm an old romantic fool. So everything is very simple, actually. Just people are lazy not to see behind the orchestration of the book, because it's very simple. It's very William S. Burroughs, another muse of mine. You don't have to read word by word. You can read transversely, vertically, horizontally. Reading is a creative activity, but without a single doubt. And John done it in a way that brought tears to my eyes, because bless him, blissfully he followed my opinions and my suggestion, and it shows. He created his own poems, and there was one or two that he liked, so it's verbatim. What you hear on the recording is verbatim what is in the book, but the rest is not. And I must say that when he goes astray and chooses his own words from mine, it's beautiful. So when I received, after 12 hours in a kitchen cooking for fat American ugly people, and I arrived home, I had a file downloaded, decoded, and it was I Am a Whisper. And I did get lacrimos, just very diva, I know, but and it was pure, a pure ascension of feelings and purity. It was
sorrowful tears, a voice intoning miraculous verses I transcribe, knowing nothing of them. This tender sorrow distends silence and blues, sickness and joy, burning candle of this opaque night. I am all that I am not. Yes, again, I am a whisper.
Hello, pumpkin. How are you, my love? Smells of fish and chips. Oh, it smells nice. I like the smell. Oh, it's nice. It doesn't smell of this in London, does it? No. Of old fish. Give me a sausage.
though there is an emphasis on English. The Fables Against Gravity too are pretty much a almost Mediterranean project, because the things I write about, who am I, where I come from, my roots, are very Mediterranean and very Portuguese. But on the other side we have the Mediterranean present through the amazing voice of Zen Jungle. I don't even remember when I start communicating musically with Phil, but it's something, it's the same thing as with John Daly. Maybe it's my fault, but I do not write or email or text or Facebook these amazing people all the time. I don't want to be a burden. That's the main reason. But Phil Zen Jungle is prolific, but I would say, like John Daly, in a Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart way. He seems to have the Midas touch, and this collaboration, I actually asked to use his performance of one track that he made for the Terra Libera ensemble, and he very gently said yes, no problem. But then something happened. Yeah, and I'm very happy, very grand. I was about to say grand, but it's the same thing. I'm very happy. Sardonic, that has got some tracks, 2 tracks on 2 Catalogue of Wonders compilations that you should investigate, by the way. Send me a version of a very powerful, intricate, beautiful, haunting, supreme Portuguese music, just one track, by Carlos Paredes or Carlos Paredes. And I was utterly surprised because Sardonic, Vitor Hugo, sent this track to me. It's a cover version, and it's a glorious, astonishing, simple tune that Carlos Paredes wrote for a film called Verdes Anos, a masterpiece of the Portuguese cinema that you should investigate as well. And the film is the same name as the tune, Verdes Anos, Green Years, which is a masterpiece compared with shebangs and shibungs and dada that we are used to watch on TV and the multiplexes. So he sent, after I asked Zen Jungle if I could use that thingy, I made a different mix. I redone the mix, and I redid it my own way, and he liked it. And when Sardonic sent me this Portuguese tune, I thought, uh-oh, there are only 2 people that I know that would be able to do something with it. So I contacted John Daly, that he thought he couldn't do anything with it. Maybe because Sardonic plays the electric guitar and with reverb, and so. And then Jungle, I sent it to him and he said, yes, I will do it. And a week or 2 later, I received these 2 improvisations on Sardonicos playing, and he said, do whatever you want. One was on the clarinet, and the other one was on the alto saxophone. So I hurt my back. I went on 3 days off, and I was thinking about it when I arrived home on a rainy day in London. Surprise, surprise. I had more or less the mix in my head, so I did it. It took maybe 10 minutes, 12 or 15 minutes, and the more I played with it, the more my original idea of intermingle the clarinet and the saxophone with of Zen Jungles with the electric guitar of Sardonic, the more it worked. I tried this and that, but the simple original idea was phenomenal. Zen Jungle, feel? I really don't know. I compared him with Mozart, but the thing is that he's multi-instrumentalist, an electronicalist. That surprises me over and over again, and the result was very, very unexpected and melodic and completely, I know the word is very wasted and word out, but it was very surreal because the work feel done with the original track by Sardonic is amazing. It's amazing. Sardonic comes from the tradition of grunge and garage, noise and even black metal tradition, and in these circumstances he is utterly Mediterranean nostalgic and even effervescently traditional, even if he uses electric instrument. And what Zen Jungle done is pretty amazing, and I hope people can really stop their fucking iPhones and the fucking iPads and the fucking tablets and they pay attention, because I am Portuguese, so the fact that I have the Virgin Automata is Portuguese as well, and Sardonic, and Zen Jungle collaborating with a Portuguese artist. It's really, really, really powerful. But then I said that I was surprised with the result. I shouldn't, because the constant work of Zen Jungle is amazing. He can jump from one style to the other, to free jazz, to improvisation, to electronica, to dance music, to rock, psychedelica. And how the hell the man does it? I actually envy him. Of course it's in a good way, you know what I mean? But for heaven's sakes, the man is just a portent of skill. First of all, he knows what he's doing. It's not by chance that he chose to use a clarinet or a saxophone. He could have used electronics and do the same surprising work. So he knows what he's doing, and it's heartfelt. It is astonishing, the complementary thing done with the composition by Carlos Paredes, the performance of Sardonic, and it is so amazing. It's just, I don't know what to say. I don't know.
True, brave, love's always young. Blossoming in divinities we invent, love's the laziest of knowledges. Keen on touch, amazing blue gladness, star-born, falling bloodless, generous love, intricate perfume, noble, fearless unknowingness, spontaneous little doom, serpent ecstatically prodigious as well, swelling melancholy, seeking timelessness, adventuring touches souls of sizeless discoveries, true and brave, young always, love. And an accordion laments, very conscious, the tenderness of shadows of waves on an empty beach, Still, let me chant. I am a whisper. The trees burned secretly, scorched infinite loops of sky and skins and ears, guessing eternity. A fable against gravity.
Word. I used to write long letters, and I did not anymore. I don't have time, and I'm always tired. But there is a kind of epistolography of understanding through sounds and music, and the thing we've done together, El Día de los Muertos, it's another project that I didn't want to put my name on it, because I was so, and I am so in awe of John Daly, that for a while I told him, no, you give me a credit as a producer or remixer or whatever, but your music is more important. And then at his insistence and blissfully kindness, we released the album. We sold one copy. Nice. Fuck the world. And he created two Fables Against Gravity, number 2, two compositions with his voice, that he doesn't like the voice, which I think is cute. But there is a manly sincerity. There's a lot of, it's like a lost boy in a lake, and the way he says the words I wrote and the words he put together, it is indeed a fable against gravity. And so now you have the answer to your question. What is this thing of Fables Against Gravity? I answer your question, but I really don't like to explain what I do. It's a very big mistake of artists nowadays, and always to explain the meaning of a painting, a building, or a sonata, or a film. Do you need to explain stock? You don't. So it's mesmerizing, the work of John Daly. Sorry, I have problems pronouncing his surname. But I hope that this is not just another release into oblivion. Just nowadays, everybody releases records. It's the most extraordinary thing. Everybody releases records every week. We have 13 albums of this Japanese young man that plays the guitar, and he's got the same title all the way around, and he's basically all the same. So we do not want the Fables Against Gravity to be that, because it is not. It's not an experimental project. It's not avant-garde. It's not experimental. Experimental. That's the very fashionable word at the moment. It always has been. And I have a problem with experimental words and avant-garde, because what we are doing is just the sum of our entertainment, actually. It's not of our culture, what we learned, what we read, what we watched, what we feel. But what we are doing now comes from a long tradition, whatever I want or not. I'm a traditionalist, I'm a classicist. You know what I mean? It's just Ryoji Ikeda, for heaven's sake, and the other Japanese with lots of squares in a big museum. That's not experimental, that's not avant-garde, he's not even contemporary, because the futurists, the Dada, done it a century ago, and better. Much better, they were the originals. What we did or I did, because that's me speaking, that's I speaking, El Día de los Muertos with John Daly, was exactly what the surrealists done. That's John Daly's world live, and I, with a little laptop and no technology, added chop, 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 I'm a chef, and done something that appeals to sentiment and little fibers of our hearts and brain cells that interconnected. I was very afraid, like I'm afraid to do this, Fables Against Gravity, number 2. But you know what? I will wake up tomorrow morning and I will listen to I Am a Whisper. And that will move me to tears, will make me feel alive. And when I listen to these so-called avant-garde artists, the exponent of electronic experimental music, I feel nauseous, and actually sometimes I feel like vomiting, literally, it's sad that people don't make their own work. And I and John, I do think we did, and we are doing, we are studying. I'm just finishing a biography on Yukio Mishima, and it's just another fable, a real fable against gravity. That's what I feel, and you ask, so that's it. Thank you for your attention. Oh, I shouldn't be smoking, shouldn't I?